Can I use the new overseeding process with dead grass? What can I do to protect my tulip bulbs from animals? And can you tell me what this plant is? Folks, I've got answers to these questions and more coming up on Garden Sense. Hey everybody, I'm Tim Ward and welcome back to Garden Sense. Well folks, got a lot of emails this past weekend, but they were a little bit unusual. And when I say that, I mean we had a lot of questions that just simply didn't have clear-cut answers. It really just came down to the preferences of the people asking those questions. So we selected a couple of those questions here today. So buckle up everybody and let's jump right in. The first question is from Gary. Tim, leaves are beginning to fall on my Easy Straw seed cover. Should I attempt to blow the leaves off the Easy Straw, or is it okay to have a leaf cover? So without a picture, I can't really tell you what I would do. Here's what I would say though. If it's just a couple of leaves, a few handfuls that are falling over the grass over the course of a couple of days, I frankly wouldn't worry about it. That grass is still going to come up. However, if you are starting to get some pretty heavy leaf drop and you feel that you're seeing more leaves on the area than you are that Easy Straw, then yeah, I would probably try and blow it off. Now here's the thing. The good news is with Easy Straw, if you guys remember, it has that tact to it. So once it gets wet, it should stick together. So as long as you are not taking a leaf blower at full power and taking it over the area, there's a really good chance that you're not even going to disturb the Easy Straw and you can easily get the leaves off. But again, without a picture, I can't really tell you. From my personal experience, given the fact that it's only now just October 1st, I would probably just leave the leaves. Given another week or two, that grass is going to be tall enough and you're probably going to be able to start mowing soon anyway. And then at that point, you can start taking your regular leaf maintenance, trying to keep it off your grass. But again, without a picture, I don't know for sure, but if it were me, I would probably leave it for right now, knowing that in a week or two, I'm probably going to need to cut the grass. The next question is from Joe. Tim, after a summer watering ban, I have small sections of burnt dead grass. I question whether the new scalping process will work, or should I tear out the dead grass and put down topsoil? So just like the previous question, because I don't have a picture, it's a little difficult for me to say exactly what to do, because in terms of the areas that are burnt out, have that dead grass, I don't know how large they are. I don't know like what percentage of your lawn they are. Now, assuming you're trying to overseed the entire lawn, if those areas are say 25% or less of your yard, I would actually just go ahead and stick with that scalping process. The only reason not to do that would be again, if it's just so much of your yard that you're not going to be able to produce enough of the grass clippings to cover the seed. And in that case, you can just put down some Easy Straw to help cover it. Now, if they're real small areas, or if you are not overseeding your entire lawn, then frankly, I would just put down some topsoil, put the grass seed down, fertilize it with turf truss, and then cover those sections with Easy Straw. Frankly, you can also just do a hybrid. You can cover it with Easy Straw by adding that topsoil like I just suggested, and then you can scalp the rest of your lawn. So honestly, you need to use your discretion. Based on your description in the email, it sounds like those areas are pretty small. So if it were me, I would scalp the entire lawn, including those dead spots, follow that overseeding process to a T. And then if there are some sections where some of those grass clippings are just maybe a little bit thin, you don't think it's enough to adequately cover the grass seed, then just put down some Easy Straw where you would normally have just covered with grass. The third question for today is from Walter. Tim, I am interested in planting tulips this fall. However, I've seen what the wildlife has done to the planters on my deck if I place a sprout onion in it. How do I prevent them from eating my tulip bulbs after I've buried them into my soil? Is there a non-electrical wire fencing or a ground cover like plastic mulch that will work? So here's actually what I recommend, and I've actually seen this done and it seems to be pretty effective. In terms of planting your bulbs, once they're in, you want to actually just cover the area with some chicken wire. And I've seen this done a couple of ways. One, I've actually seen the chicken wire buried. You know, you kind of just lay it over top and bury the edges. Obviously, if an animal really wants to get at it, it might be able to dig underneath that. I've also seen it where people have attached the chicken wire to some, you know, real long, like 2x4s, connect it and then lay it over the top where the bulbs are. And so again, it's just something a little bit heavier and it's a little bit harder for, you know, chipmunks and squirrels and any of your other, you know, local pests that might try to dig up your bulb. So the chicken wire thing is something I recommend. I would also recommend putting down, at least until the ground is frozen, putting down some Repels All granules. You can actually pick those up over at Rosen's online. These are really effective. They're non-toxic to animals, so they're not going to harm if you have any pets or any neighborhood pets, but they smell bad, they taste bad. So if you sprinkle the entire area that you've just planted with those granules, there's a good chance that the animal is not going to want to dig it up and disturb that. So again, if you combine those two, put down some chicken wire so that they can't really get at it, and put down some of the Repels All granules so they don't want to, that should cause the animals to move on and look for a different food source. The final question for today is from Mrs. Holguin. Tim, I found a couple of seedlings growing where my bushes grow. Not sure what it may be. I thought it might be poison ivy, but would like to know before attempting to pull it out. Can you tell me what it may be? Thank you for sending in a picture. This is incredibly helpful. I do not believe this is poison ivy. This actually looks like a plant called coxcomb. It's also known as wolf flower. Again, this is actually technically an herb and it's non-toxic to people, it's non-toxic to animals. The important thing though is it does not look like poison ivy to me, so you can go ahead, just get some gloves on, pull it out, and your bushes should be just fine. All right, everybody, just a couple final thoughts before we wrap up this week's video podcast. Folks, as a reminder, right now over at Rosen's Online, we have our Fall Feeding Frenzy promotion going on. Guys, this is 3 bags of Turf Truss fertilizer for a special price and free shipping. It can be the starter fertilizer, or it can be the maintenance fertilizer. It can be the 5M size or the 10M size. So if you have not fertilized your lawn, the third time that we recommend, pick up some Turf Truss fertilizer right now and take advantage of the Fall Feeding Frenzy pricing. Remember, you also have a 4th feeding that we're recommending closer to Thanksgiving. So pick up what you need right now. I also want to remind you that a lot of your deciduous trees and shrubs love getting fertilized in the fall. And so right now, over at rosensonline.com, we have a plant trust promotion going on. So during checkout, if you would enter the coupon code PT10, that's P for plant, T for trust, and the number 10, into the coupon code during checkout, you're actually going to get 10% off your plant trust order. So again, combine that with the Fall Feeding Frenzy, you're going to save a lot of money, and it's going to be exactly what your trees, your shrubs, and your lawn require right now. Folks, as always, if you have questions, please make sure you send an email directly to me, Tim, at rosensonline.com. I will get back to you as quickly as possible. Again, all of your questions are what help us produce this weekly podcast. And we know that you really enjoy the videos because we continue to get email feedback from you saying how much you love them. And we always, always appreciate hearing that. Folks, as always, I hope that you have an amazing rest of the week. Thank you so much for the time you spent with us today. God bless.